What's good, YouTube? It's Justice I Used to Be Paying. Today I'm back with another video. And in this video, I'm going to be telling you why your favorite rapper is corny. But before I get into that, make sure you leave a like, comment, and subscribe. Do all those things. It helps me out a ton. Recently, it's been a bit of a trend to pull up old clips or old posts from XXXTentacion and just realizing how corny they are nowadays. Specifically, the clip about his father.
Do you have any relationship with your father? I mean,
What's that? What's a father?
Or even the clip about Jase Omfroy, he was weak, but X is strong.
Jase Omfroy was weak. X is the complete opposite. X desires control, controversy, wealth. X has desires. Jase Omfroy had no desires.
These clips are like the spark of people kind of collectively gaining consciousness on the internet. People have even gone back and started to roast the pictures of X's journal and the cringy stuff he was writing in there. But I feel like this conclusion that X was corny is something that everybody who is a fan of rap should really kind of come to, because pretty much all rappers are extremely corny, especially if you look at them outside of the context of them being a rapper or some sort of celebrity and just look at them as a person. I think the reason so many people are looking back on what X was doing at that time and what his fans were doing at that time and realizing how corny it was just due to the simple fact that they're getting older now. X, when he was alive, he really didn't have any fans that were over the age of like 17, 18. Like that was pretty much the max. And it's been 7 years since he passed away now. So all those kids that were in middle school and high school, they're all in their early 20s or at the very end of their teenage years. And just looking back on some of that stuff and being like, ooh, that was a little cringy. Like X kind of had that sad boy, sad Bart Simpson edit energy. Like that's just kind of where he operated in the plane of energy. And some of that emo stuff, when you get older, you can look back at it and be like, oh yeah, that was kind of cringy. That's typically how people tend to look at that stuff. And you also have to remember that when X passed away, he was only like 20 years old. So he was barely an adult. At 20, you're still kind of a kid in a way. Like you're legally an adult, but you're not really fully matured into adulthood. And I honestly think that if X were alive today, he probably would look back and laugh at a lot of that stuff that people are laughing at too. He would probably be laughing with people, but you have to realize that he really did pass away super young. So he never really got to move out of that kind of like cringy phase as people are looking back on it now. And I do believe though, even then, he kind of stopped doing a lot of that cringy, super emo, super sad boy, what's a father? Like he kind of stopped doing that once he got 20 and got towards like the end of his life, unfortunately. So I really do feel like X, in terms of his cringiness, we kind of have to give him a pass just due to how young the guy was and how young he was when he passed away. But some of these other rappers don't get a pass. Like Playboi Carti, for an example. If you are a fan of his, you probably think he's really cool. He's got aura, all that stuff. I'm a fan of him. Like, yeah. But if you take yourself out of the perspective of a fan, and let's just say you have no connection to him and look at him, he just looks crazy as hell. Like, this man is 30 years old, damn near 30 years old. He's like 28, I think. He has 2 children, and he constantly dresses up like and refers to himself as a vampire. He's young vamp life. This man is almost 30. He has 2 children, and he dresses up like a vampire, unironically. Like, Playboi Carti is literally the Drewski misunderstood skit personified. That's quite literally what Playboi Carti is. The man allegedly missed the birth of his child to play the PlayStation with Uzi.
This man didn't even come to see his son be born. He went to Philly to play the PlayStation with little Uzi.
Like, that's what we're talking about here. When I say, when you take yourself out of the bubble of, I like his music, these guys kind of look crazy. Like, even his performances, which are super great. I love them, super cool. If you don't really like the music and you're not a fan, looks insane. It's a guy running around on stage, screaming random words, just screeching into the microphone, smoke's going off. He's not even really like performing the song all the way. He's like, looks kind of crazy. All right. If you're not a fan of Carti, very corny. Future is 40 years old with 10 plus children. Some of his children are legal adults now, and he still raps like he's 21 years old. He's still rapping about doing drugs, turning up in the club, popping bottles. He talking about flexing on the ops. Like all that stuff is cool because he's a rapper. But just imagine if this was your 40-year-old uncle and he was out here creating a bunch of broken families, broken homes, kids all over the place. Who knows what involvement he has in their lives, if any whatsoever. All right, he's still out here. He's getting with these younger women. He's at the club every weekend. You be like, damn, Unc, like you kind of doing a lot. Like whenever somebody like myself posts on TikTok making content, like talking about music or whatever, they'll be like, damn, Unc, like you still on TikTok trying to make videos? Damn, Unc, you need to go start a family, go get married or something, go have some kids, Unc. You way too old to be doing all this. But Future gets to rap about infidelity, cheating, and popping bottles and being on perks at 41 years old, and that's still cool. One of the worst offenders of the corny stuff, though, is without a shadow of a doubt Lil Uzi. Like, you can go through the outfits, all the personas, but one thing that I'll just point out in particular is that this man was like 27 years old when Uzi started talking about a persona, another persona, an alter ego named Leslie Chow, as in Leslie Chow from the Hangover movies. Uzi had an Asian movie character alter ego at the age of 27 years old. 27 years old. Uzi had Asian on the inside on his bios on like social media for so long, up until like maybe a few years ago, like 2-3 years ago. Asian on the inside as a grown man. And then I'm not even going to go and like go through each outfit because that's just low hanging fruit. Like that's just too easy, but you get what I'm trying to say. The corniest thing in rap to me though, without a shadow of a doubt in my opinion, is the like religious rage bait. When they like use devil imagery or the upside down cross stuff, it's so unbelievably corny to me at this point because we're so beyond that. Like that might have been like a controversial thing to do 10 years ago in rap, but at this point everyone does it and it's just lame. You're just trying to get people to be mad because, oh, look at my cross, it's upside down. Ooh, look at this. Ooh, I put 666 here. Oh, I use devil here. Oh, look at the devil horns I have on my album cover. Like it's tired. All right. The rock stars were already doing that in the 80s. I'll let rappers do it for a few years now, but if you're still doing that in big 2025, it's just corny to me. I'm sorry. It is. And then whenever you ask them about it, they never have like a direct answer. Whenever a rapper's asked like, hey, why do you have an upside down cross on? It's always, yeah, man, I'm just different. You know, it just represents, you know, what it means to me, you know, like it's just an energy. You know, I'm not really a religious person. I'm much more like spiritual. And so what this represents to me is just like, you know, I'm just different. So, yeah, I'm just, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's just the energy, you know, a religion, like it's cool. Like, don't get me wrong. Like I was, you know, I was raised in the church. I grew up Christian, but, it's just like, I just, you know, it's just my own way. Like, you know, it's just me doing my own thing. It's just like, you know, I'm just, you know, me. So I just got to be me. And, you know, that's what they never have a real answer. It's always a bunch of humble jumbo, nothing answer. Or now I've seen, you know, fans be like, oh, it's the St. Peter's cross or whatever. You know, St. Peter, he didn't think he was worthy to die like Jesus. So he died upside down. And that's why the cross is upside down.
Me growing up and realizing it, like the upside down cross, St. Peter got buried upside down. I mean, crucified upside down. Yeah. Because he felt like he wasn't as worthy. And he was like,
and that's why I think I saw a clip of Ken Carson trying to use that excuse with a police officer because he asked him about it. But it's just like, stop it. You don't give a damn about none of that. You don't give a damn about St. Peter's cross. You don't give a damn about nothing. You just wanted some controversy. Your label said you need to stir up some controversy. So you put on an upside down cross. Like, just leave it there, honestly. Rap, in a way, is very similar to professional wrestling in the sense of sometimes you need a character or a gimmick in order to get people to care about you even more. Yes, at the end of the day, the music is the most important part of being a rapper, and that's how you're gonna gain fans. But you have to give the fans just a little bit more in order to get them to buy into you, in order to get them to attach themselves to who you are, not only your music and who you are there, but just you as a person in general. It's a big part of gaining a massive fan base and having diehard fans. It's having a brand or an identity or a character or a gimmick that other people can relate themselves to. That's why so many people relate to Drake. So many people have been the guy that the girl doesn't want anymore, or have been the guy who keeps losing friends because they're stabbing him in the back. That's why people can relate to Drake. People can relate to Kendrick Lamar and love Kendrick Lamar because, yes, his music is great, but also they've been that kid growing up in that rough area and trying to make a change for themselves and trying to make it better for the people around them and the people in their family. People used to love Kanye West because, yes, he was a great musician, of course, but also he would speak his mind. He wasn't afraid to speak his mind.
George Bush doesn't care about black people.
And he was unapologetically himself. And now, I guess that's a bad thing now, but like that was part of the reason why so many people loved Kanye. Throughout the history of rap, rappers have always tried to find ways to stick out from their counterparts. Pretty much all of these guys are playing characters, some more than others. Some people just make up entire personas like 6ix9ine, where they're just not who they actually are. Some people really just turn their natural personality up to an 11, kind of like a Drake, where he's a really corny and kind of awkward guy, but he made that into a little bit of his persona, especially at the beginning of his career. Some guys are constantly changing their persona to fit with whatever they're doing as an artist at that time, like a Tyler, the Creator, well, where he'll change his image, his persona, everything about him, the theme of what he's doing to kind of highlight what he's going into on his next project, and he'll run with that for a few years or so. So it all really just depends, but if you look at all of this stuff outside of the context of the art and these guys being rappers, most of the time it does look kind of corny, and that does include the street guys. The best example for tough guys or street dudes looking corny, though, is definitely Lil TJ. Without a shadow of a doubt, like he's the prime example. That whole situation with Blackboy Max where he asked them to not smoke in the Airbnb, then he smokes in the Airbnb, then he asks them again, and then they smoke again, then he asks them again, and then they leave. Like that whole situation with Lil TJ and Fabio Foreign, they looked extremely, extremely corny. And then Lil TJ went on to make it worse by going on his Twitch stream and being like, yeah, we would have slapped Max. Like, I don't know who he thought he was talking to. Like, yeah, you don't even try me like that. You be like, bro, really? Really? Because the whole thing is like, he's supposed to be a tough guy. Nobody can tell him what to do. You can't try him like that. And so he has to keep up that persona. And in keeping up that persona, in exchange, he looks really corny. Or like recently when he was at a boxing event and he like spit on a security guard or something and they threw him out. And again, you just look really corny popping off in situations where you don't need to. Like you're trying to be a tough guy. Just relax. It's okay. And again, another example, unfortunately, is Lil Durk. And I love Lil Durk. He's one of my favorite rappers. But the whole situation with the paid hit on Quando Rondo and now looking at him probably never seeing the light of day again, it's really corny, bro. You're over 30 years old. You have 10 plus children that are counting on you. And you threw your life away. Knowingly, too. It's not like he didn't expect to get caught because on his songs, he said, they asked me where I'm going to be in 10 years. I say the feds. Like he knew this was coming. He was well aware of this. He was willing to take that risk. He valued possibly getting get back for King Von more and going to jail for the rest of his life. He valued that more than raising his children and being a better father to his kids than his father was to him, because his father put him in the exact same position where he went to jail for 30 years. So what are you doing? Did sending that hit out, was it going to bring King Von back? Was King Von going to rise from the dead because you took out who took him out? No. And I get it. It's a different mentality. It's a different mindset. But at the end of the day, it's corny. I'm sorry. You're not going to tell me that a 30-year-old man throwing the rest of his life away knowingly, like this was premeditated, throwing your life away while having 10 plus children isn't corny. You're not going to convince me it's not. I get it. Different mentalities, different mindsets. He grew up different. That's the lifestyle he chose. At the end of the day, King Von is gone, regardless of whether you get Quando Rondo or not. He's never coming back. But now, you're not going to be in your children's lives anymore. And you didn't even get the right guy anyway. If you look outside the context of these guys being super famous rappers who everybody loves, they all look kind of corny. Like, it's not just X. And the X trend is funny, don't get me wrong. I'm not sitting on here trying to defend X. That stuff is hilarious. But if you really start to look at all these rappers, you can kind of look at them all a little bit sideways. Yes, even Kendrick. The Crown of Thorns, that was crazy. That was really corny. I don't care what the message was. Putting on the Crown of Thorns is definitely wild for a rap performance. So, in conclusion, all of your rappers are corny. All of your favorite rappers. Yes, you watching this video, whoever your favorite rapper is, there's a whole bunch of corny things about them. Just remember that. At the end of the day, they're people. They're not deities. They're not superheroes. They're just people. And you don't have to worship them. they can be corny too. But if you made it this far, I greatly, greatly appreciate you. Make sure you leave a like, comment, subscribe, do all those things. It would help me out a ton. I go by the name of Pay. Peace.